Yo, what's good? It's been a minute, but as promised, I will be going over the deck list that just came out for YCS Brazil. Pretty much all the deck lists that have came out that I didn't already go over in my last video because I think it's probably like 20 deck lists already because it's a 3v3. So it's like, do I wait for everything to come out or do I just like go over what we have now? This is most of the top decks, and like who knows if anyone's gonna upload their list? They might be going to Vancouver or Cancun and trying to withhold that information. So I thought it'd just be best to do it now. There's a lot of deck, and how I'm gonna do this one is it's actually gonna be like a side by side for the decks that I'm comparing because I kind of just want to see like the differences between like everyone's list, like what choices they made that were different. But yeah, the spreadsheet got updated, and that's what kind of like prompted this video. I'm gonna comment the spreadsheet in the comment section, so if you want to check out the link, I know some people were asking for it before. Okay, so this is pretty much all the topping decks, so regionals included with Sao Paulo. And we see Cash is actually like way better than I thought it was. This might be because of Unchained, because I think Pearly really counters Cash, but Cash actually counters Unchained semi-well. I mean, Shifter is just like really good versus the deck, so I think that's the reason. And then when we look at like the Team YCS Brazil, we see Cashdira actually has almost 30%. So this was like before top 8, because as we saw in the last video, it was like 50% once we get to top 8 or top 4 for Unchained. So Unchained like maybe can transition better than Cash and do better now in top cut. Same with Labyrinth. We saw Labyrinth actually make it really far, the ones that did, even though there was not that many. But that's pretty much it. I think this is like pretty much the snapshot of the meta. I think these are the 3 best decks. Every other deck is very good, but these are definitely what I would say are top 3 or the easiest to do well with. And it's also interesting because this is like the deck lists that are actually like posted on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, So it's not like every single deck because it's really hard to get all this information in the first place. So shout out to this guy for doing it. But I would think that most people wouldn't want to like give a cashier deck profile, or maybe they would be more prompted to because like then their deck will like the deck list doesn't matter as much, so they're not worried about like hiding it or keeping it a secret. But you think like everyone knows the cash deck lists, most of them are the same. It's been going on for a long time now, so they're less likely to post it, and it's still having like such a high position on the pie chart. So that's interesting to think about. A lot of random decks, like the off meta. This just proves how many decks are in the format. Like all of these decks can top. We have like Galaxy Photon, which we went over in the last video for the regional deck list, and like Marincess is like still high up. Even like regular branded, Chimera branded, you'd think they'd be like kind of grouped together, but they're definitely separate decks, so I agree with that. All right, now getting into the deck list, so we're gonna go over the individual ones that I couldn't actually like compare first. So firstly, we have Labyrinth. Now Labyrinth actually has decided to run like one Unchained guy just to make it like more spread across the board. Now they'll have a Link Monsters or Chaos Angel. I saw a lot of Chaos Angel on stream with the Vanquish Soul Super Heavy Samurai deck and this deck as well. Chaos Angel's a powerful card, especially when you're running like a deck full of traps. See people electing to go like for Extravagance over Prosperity. We saw an Unchained list do this too that got top 8. I think Prosperity is like one of the most broken cards. I know I saw Pack say like, yo, you're a bozo if you can afford Prosperity and you're not playing it. So that might reign true. Prosperity is just such a good card. There's a reason why it's hitting the OCG. Anything else? It's interesting they chose to run 3 Droll and 2 Nib. I mean, Droll's better when you have like cards like these to go with it. I think Destructive Karma Cannon is like such a good card right now. It's definitely really powerful versus like Unchained, Kashtira, Pearly. It does hit yourself as well, but in a deck like this, I think it might be worth to even run like 3 to 4. I would definitely consider it. Like this card is just so powerful. And then I think, yeah, I like the Trap Trick too in a deck like this, just because it's like not that many traps, and we're running a lot of hand traps. We're running the Couch Engine, the Labyrinth, Kuklok, and Stove. Pretty much all these cards do the same thing, but they're also good at chain blockers, so it helps with the Pearly matchup as well. And then for the extra deck, it's just like as many multiples as we can have because we are running the extravagance. So these cards are less important, he's pretty much saying. Then the 3 Lord of Heavenly's Prison in the side. I think I did see him summon this on stream for a brief second when he played Pat. Definitely just like, it's just like another Rhoda for a trap. We got the Eradicator D-Barrier. Not much to explain there. The Shifter is definitely really interesting, but it's so powerful versus Unchained. So I believe that's why they made the decision to side it. And then Manadium actually got top 8. So that's pretty interesting. This deck has fallen off a little bit, and this was the only one that we know of that actually topped. He was playing a 43 card main deck. Another interesting thing about this to me at first glance was that they're running 2 A Hero Lives only, and they're running Torrid. So I cut this card when I was playing the deck. So I thought it was kind of weird that you'd run only 2 A Hero Lives, and then like only 1 Ash, and you're not running Designator. Like, oh, there's 3 Ash. Okay, that's just how this program was. So I was like, yo, that's crazy. Or maybe that's supposed to be A Hero Lives. I don't know. You have to watch the video to find out if this is just like a deck list error on this website, but yeah, 2 Hero Lives just seems so weird because it's just like so much better to draw a Hero Lives than Plasma or Prisma. Like that was the worst part about this deck is when you draw just Prisma or Prisma and a Hero Lives even, and it's just like trash. We're gonna see a lot of the 6 Book of Moon package. So I do agree. That's what I was playing in my Pearly deck as well. So like Book of Moon is strong. Book of Eclipse is just so strong in the mirror. It's so strong versus Cash, Pearly, even Labyrinth. Like I've said before that they're underrated versus Labyrinth, these cards. And then we're running like 3 Imperm, the counter traps. So only like 6 hand traps, 12 non-engine, I think, for going second. Assuming that this Ash is right. It's not a lot. That's obviously what Manadium struggles with. I think their extra deck's pretty clean. There's some cards in here that I haven't really seen before. So I've actually seen this before, but I haven't seen this. So Ice Trade Gimmer. So it's 1 water tuner and 1 non-tuner, level 10. Quick effect, you can activate this effect. Face up monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn. Oh wow, that's kind of crazy. That's definitely a really good effect. Then, if you activated this effect in response to your opponent's card or effect activation, and your opponent has a card with that name on their field and or graveyard, you can banish those cards. Wow, that's really sweet. And if a card is banished by your opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Oh wow, and some recursion. And it's 3000 attack. This card actually seems pretty cool. I can't believe I haven't heard of it before. Is that just for the Crimson Dragon too? I wonder. But yeah, that's interesting. It's definitely a cool level 10 synchro that I haven't read before. Anything else? Obviously, we got the Cross Streep, running the Prisma. We have the Underworld Goddess. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that ran. Went with the Contact C gamble. I wonder if we'll be seeing more of that. That's something that really fell off as soon as like Pearly started to play IP over Princess Sprite. But I did see a lot of Pearly players. So Kamal and the other dude that were in top 4, they were playing Princess Sprite. So I wonder if they're running the Contact C. We have Kamal's list up in here in a little bit. The Dark Rulers, 2 Cosmic. I'd probably side 3 Cosmic over a Duster. Then we have an Infernoble list. So like this deck is crazy. Played versus this deck before, and it's like you'll nib them and it will not matter like a single bit, even though you think you just like plus ginormous. So I haven't actually played this deck that much, but I'll go through some of the cards that I don't think are like that normal. So he's playing the Butter Spy. It's basically just an extender for level 4. We're playing the Dolphin. I just wish I knew this deck more, and I would probably say more about it. So I'll probably just skip over it, but let you see the list. He's signing this card, Battle and Boxer Uppercutter. This is normal or special summon. You can add 1 Battle and Boxer most counter trap from your deck to your hand. This card is sent to the graveyard by card effect. You can activate 1 of these, special summon it, set 1 counter trap for your graveyard, and then he's siding the counter trap. Oh, okay, so it's a time card. But it's a time card that requires 2 cards? That doesn't seem that good. If this searches that, but like, or if you have another card that searches this counter trap, probably I would guess. But yeah, that seems weird. Definitely cool deck. Definitely probably should test it so I can learn it more. be able to talk about it really. And then we have Pearly. So Pearly actually didn't do like as well as I thought, but it just like Labyrinth, it went really far if it did. So Kamal's list was interesting. I have liked the Fenrir a lot. I have noticed with regional deck lists that Pearly players are actually running 2 Street now. Um, I don't know about that. I still don't know. 3 Street seems really good. Didn't seem like there was a whole lot of rescue ace in the top cut, so kind of got rewarded. I would say with the 2 Street, it might not be as necessary. But then again, playing rescue ace, I think that players just misplay by not playing around street enough or not putting enough emphasis on street as the rescue ace player. Because if you do, it's really hard to lose with those 4 sets. Um, Anything interesting about the extra deck? So yeah, so they have no contact C out actually. So Kamala did not play contact C out. The extra deck is really tight. I honestly hate playing the contact C out, and I think it's annoying. Like contact C is just such an annoying card in theory because it's like I play one card out as like Ibli in that way, but and it's like Princess Spray is actually pretty good, and that's like the card you definitely would cut for it. But I'm honestly thinking Anima might be worth cutting for it. Like, but you do need Anima to link climb sometimes, so it's really tough. That's why the extra deck's so tight. The Zeus sometimes doesn't matter. Maybe we could play one Zeus. I don't know. It's really hard to play around a card like that. Contact C. 2 talents and 2 Book of Eclipse. Interesting ratio there. Just spreading our one hard ones per turn effects. We don't want more than 2 talents, I guess. The 3 Nib, I do think this is one of the best hand traps, along with Ash. And then with the side, we are siding the Designator. For the 3 Imperm, we have the Book of Eclipse. It's interesting that he wouldn't like have a Book of Moon when he's siding cross out Designator because you think like that's another card you would want to protect maybe if you're going first. The Lava Golem, because this deck doesn't really need a normal summon, so why not get some extra value? Originally, we were playing Santa Claus, right? But Lava Golem is fine. We don't really need the normal summon all that much. And then 2 Lightning Storm, Feather Duster, so lots of spell trap removal. I actually decided to go against Cosmic Cyclone. Said he'd rather have more value, pretty much by playing that. XYZ Encore is just such a good card versus Cash and the Mirror. And then 2 Solemns for going first, basically just taking the place of Crossout Designator as well. Just another card to ensure that your Yeep resolves. And then we have Rika. So Rika, is there anything unique about this list really? It is Sun Avalon Rika, so it's not like the dude who got top 8 at that event Pauly won. What can I say about this? I'm talking about the YCS Pauly won, by the way. Yeah, he's citing Rose Whip. Just citing a lot of hand traps is really interesting to me. I think you'd want to main those, but yeah, it's pretty standard. 45 cards is a lot, but I guess you got the Veilers and Imperms and Ash and Cosmic and Books. So 15 non-engine going second cards, and then he's running Call by as well. It's definitely interesting. What was this? Top 16? What can I say about the extra? Not really much to say. Signing the Evenlies. I think Evenly is a really good card in this deck. Just more going second. So let's compare. Whoops. Let's compare some decks. So here we have Jesse Cotton's deck, which is really, really similar to Pack. So I'm wondering if they tested together. So we have Jesse Cotton, who got top 4, and then Pat Hoban, who got top 4 as well. Comparing their decks are very different, actually. So in terms of monsters, we see a lot of similar ratios for the starters. We're still running Tour Guide in both lists. So Jesse and Pack actually did choose to run Unchained Soul of Disaster, a really good card in the mirror, just good. Terrible card to draw, one of the biggest bricks, but it's definitely like it adds a lot of power to the deck. And then Jesse and Peck also ran like the DDD package. This package is really strong with the Pendulum guy. You just special him, and then you make this rank 10, and then you kind of just Zeus your opponent for all their cards. I definitely like this. I think it's pretty neat. and it's like, why not when you're running Wave High King Caesar? So I think this was actually pretty cool to play. Just go Dark Contract, add this, but it's not really like a brick, so it's not like you're playing like a 3-to-1 brick ratio. Maxing out on the traps, so one player chose to max on the traps, the other didn't. 41 cards to 40, both running Prosperity, so Prosperity is probably a guaranteed card, I would say now. Book of Moon, it's interesting too that they're both running 3 Book of Moon, saying it's a really powerful card, but Pat's not running Book of Eclipse or Thrust. It's like crazy how he fits all this. And then we have 2 talents in Jesse's list, and or only 1 talent compared to Pat's 2, but that's probably just because he's running 3 thrusts. So it's basically like he's running 4 talents to his 2. And he's not siding imperms like Pat is, or playing Ash. So Pat's playing Ash and imperm over Jesse, which is like very interesting when Pat usually is like the person to like just not play hand traps. Like if you look at all of his decks earlier, he doesn't really play hand traps, and now we see him playing hand traps and other players not, playing more board breakers like Book of Eclipse and Thrust. It's very interesting. And then for the extra deck, we do see that Jesse's doing the Nightmare Griffin rather than like the just standard combo. Pat's actually playing DDD Stone King Darius. You can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 Dark Contract you control, destroy it. Oh, this is a time card. This card battles an opponent's monster. During damage calculation, you can detach 1 excluding Z material from this card. Make this card unable to be destroyed by battle. Destroy the opponent's monster that battled it after damage calculation and inflict 500. So I think this is more so just a time card. Anything else? Jesse's running 3 Yuma. Pat's only running 2. Pat's running 2 of this guy, English, and then Jesse's only running 1. Oh, Pat actually didn't run Access Code 2. Jesse did. And Tour Guide of the Underworld. He was running Skystriker Azelia, which is really good for getting rid of floodgates for sure. There can be only 1. It's definitely annoying for this deck. And then he's siding some of the cards that Jesse is maining. Pat is. So he's got like 3 thrusts on the side, the 2 Book of Eclipse. Where Jesse's siding like some floodgates. Like, that's crazy. Just 2 of these grave cards. Wonder why 2. I guess it was just like the last. It's definitely just for side deck patterns is why he plays 2 on the side rather than 3, I would imagine. So a lot of people actually going for the Harpy's Feather Dust or Lightning Storm rather than Cosmic Cyclone now. So that's definitely a meta shift, I would say. They both siding 3 nibs. Pat decided to side 3 jewels. It's like kind of relevant. Obviously just better versus specific decks. I know Pat is like really strong against like D-Barrier or like Cannon, like these going first cards that you would side for going first. He thinks you should just like win on your own when you go first with a deck. Like, why would you side like a D-Barrier? Your engine should just be able to win by itself going first. And I kind of agree with that to an extent. This is another top 16 list. And then, like, we went over this list already before, but I think it would just be, like, worth it to just, like, compare just how different they are again. Yeah, I mean, I just can't get over this list. It's like we see so many huge differences between the 2. Like, obviously, Extravagance, the Kaiju Slumbers. He decided, so this was top 16. So this one got top 8 and actually went further than Theo. Theo was running, the one on the left was running 3 Veilers, 3 Moonlight, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 3 Books. That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 non-engine going second. When we compare the non-engine, obviously it's vastly different with like 3 Kaijus. He was running Soul of Disaster. So it's like half of the list running Soul of Disaster. I feel like it does make a big impact. It's actually 4 Kaijus. So 7, 10, 13. So it's like around 2 less engine for the deck on the right. And then we're just not running Tour Guide. So we're saying Tour Guide basically sucks. And then the Pot of Extravagance with like all maxed out extra decks. So he was not playing. I wonder if he ever banished 3 Yama. That would be like funny. And he's not running like the rank 10 like a lot of other people were. He also wasn't doing the Nightmare Griffin line. So not everyone was doing the Nightmare Griffin line. That was also pretty split. Nightmare Griffin line is definitely weaker to like a card like Imperm or Effect Veiler. Um, and I think that's kind of maybe that's emphasized with like what people play is also what they're playing against, because this deck on the left, it has like so much more effect negates. Like we got 3 Moonlight, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm, which is better versus our own strategy. Definitely think that's like how people do it a lot of the time though. 3 MST in the side because it's better because we can use it on ourselves compared to the 3 Cosmic that we can't use on ourselves. Unfortunately, that's why if Heavy Storm was legal, it'd be a really good side card in this deck. I would say like Heavy Storm would actually be so much better than like Feather Duster right now. And then we see like the siding of the Floodgates going first. We have Eradicator, D Barrier. We're basically siding 3 of each with the Trap Tracks. And then siding 3 Droll, we see that again, just like when we saw in Pat's list. And there's no Nibiru in this list on the right, but we do have 3 Bells. So we are pretty favored versus Lab, I would say, with a deck like this. We have so many cards we're siding in versus Lab. We have 3 pink, we have Pink Tops, 3 Ash, 3 Bell, 7 cards, and then Feather Duster and 3 Cosmics. So that's like 11 cards going second that we side versus Lab. Basically all this Kaiju stuff probably comes out. Next list. I thought I had yeah, okay. This is right. So I do have 2 actual Bestial Dragon Link decks. One playing 45, this is Ruben, and then one playing 43, but this one actually got top 8 too, so that's pretty far for Dragon Link. Definitely can't write it off. Ruben didn't play 3 Imperms. On the right, we did play Imperm. We also played Gamma and 1 Driver. Both lists playing Nib. On the right, we're not playing Ash. So actually a lot of decks choosing to just like forego Ash this tournament. So Ash might not be as good as it once was. Obviously, we've seen Branded fall off, but Chimera still gets hit pretty hard by Ash on Branded Fusion as well. But Chimera's not even the most played deck either, so I guess that's why. We see 2 talents and then no talents on the right. Decided to run the Chaos Emperor Dragon on the left. Both running Levenier, 1 running Caliber, 1 not running Caliber, and then 2 Recharger and Ruben's list over the Caliber. They're both running like max. Oh wow, he's only running 1-star Liege where Ruben was running 3. We see a difference in books. One's running Book of Eclipse, 1 is running Book of Moon. So actually a good amount of differences for these. The Baldrake too, I kind of like Baldrake in this deck, I would think. And then we're running Atum in the side. That's interesting. And we also have a time card with the Scarlight. Baron. Anything really cool about this extra deck? I think we're running Borderlands. It's kind of interesting. Are we running Borderlands in both? Yeah, we're running Borderlands in both. Okay. And then we're running 3 Eradicator on the right rather than the anti-spell that Ruben chose. Ruben also running Encore. Kamal was too, so I bet they like just really emphasize that card. We have the time card in the side. We have the 3 Dark Kaijus in the side. We're running the other Spell Negate side frame because we are running Gamma in the main. And then it chose to run Cosmic on the right over the Lightning Storms. It's pretty interesting. And then we're also running Phantasme, which is kind of like better now. Definitely like under the radar right now, but that card's time will shine soon, I would say. Then comparing these Chimera lists, so we already went over this list on the left that chose to run the Dragoon package, where this list on the right is more standard, 40 cards, doesn't run it, but is maining Designator, isn't playing openings, so less Branded Fusions definitely, but then we don't have to run a Luber, and we have like 2 Moonlight and a Veiler instead because we're running Designator, and we have 2 Imperms, so we're running like these weird ratios just for the Designator, and 3 Super Poly. So when we compare how well both these players did, the one on the right actually got top 8, and he was running 3 Super Poly, the called by. So he was really trying to make sure that his going first plays went through. Even with the 2 talents, especially, I know they're both running 2 talents, but Didn't side nib, didn't main nib either. Sided the one shifter for designator. That's crazy. Kind of like that. This dude actually sided one designator. That's kind of crazy. This side deck's really weird. I'd have to go back and check in the video if that's right, but like, yeah, this side deck's really weird to me. Then the three evenly 3D barriers, because this card's just game versus like Pearly or the Mirror going first. Yeah, we all know how strong D barrier is. Oops. And then the sprite list. So we did have a Melfi sprite list actually get top 8. So both these lists got top 8, a Runic for hire and a Melfi. Just really showing how like your deck, like you can play whatever cards you want. Your deck list, you know, you just prove it because like so many different decks topped with like so many different card for card lists. So really interesting. I like that this Melfi sprite actually ran Plump, unironically as like a card to just get a more material Zeus. I think that's really cool. You know, like Plump is just by itself 4 materials, right? If you have 2 spells and traps in the grave. Or actually, yeah, so 4 materials on Plump, and then in Downward, that's a 6-mat Zeus just for running Plump. I definitely think Plump shines in these rank 2 decks, and I definitely could see more of that in the future with like just Sprite in general. I think it's interesting. So this was actually a Melfi Cat, so it works on Droll for Mannequin Cat, the Wiz, and the Runic for Hire's side deck. Obviously, there's going to be a bunch of differences because this dude just has to, like this list, for Fur Hire Runic, there's not much you can change in the list. Obviously, he's running Book of Moon, so a lot of players did say Book of Moon was like better for this event than Book of Eclipse. Just because you can set it going first. It is better usually going first than Book of Eclipse. Actually, no time cards in this list from what I see. You know, we love to see that. 6 floodgates for going first as the Melfi Sprite. So that's actually a lot compared to this other list. But this list, I mean, with Runic Fountain, you don't really, like, your engine is just so much. If your engine pops off, you just win the game. Whereas this list, your engine can pop off, and you can still lose to Kashtira if they draw a really good hand. I played Melfi Sprite at YCS, so I definitely know that. But yeah, I think that's it. That's a pretty long video already, going through just like all the decks that topped YCS Brazil. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.